Hi, I'm Alex, welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. In today's video, I want to talk about 3 really important things about Workhorse which nobody else seems to be talking about. So if you're an investor in Workhorse or you're thinking about investing in Workhorse, this is not one you want to miss out on. If you haven't seen that video I previously made on Workhorse, then I really recommend you check it out. Hopefully you find it interesting. Again, in that video, we covered things that at that point in time nobody else was talking about, and that as investors is really important to us. So please smash the like button, it's really helpful in pushing the video to a wider audience. If you like investing related content, then subscribe to the channel. I also have a load of really exciting videos planned, so you don't want to miss those either. I'm not a financial advisor, this video is purely for entertainment and educational purposes only, but let's get straight into it. Number 1, at the current valuation levels that Workhorse is trading at, there's already an assumption priced in that they're going to win part of this USPS RFP contract. What I've done here is I've created a quick Excel analysis just to demonstrate the impact of Workhorse winning part of that USPS contract to ascertain what that means for Workhorse's valuation overall. Now this isn't super scientific, but what it does do is give us an indicative view of the valuation. What we know is the RFP is for around 165,000 vehicles and it's worth $6.3 billion. And those vehicles are to be delivered over between 5 and 7 years. Now, the contract can be broken up into multiple pieces, or alternatively, the entire contract can be awarded to just one of the bidders. So what this analysis does is it breaks this contract down into segments of 10%. So my personal view is I think it's unlikely that Workhorse would win this entire contract. However, I do believe there's a possibility that they may win part of the contract. What we can see, however, is looking at this analysis, winning just 10% of that RFP would mean a valuation on an EV sales basis that is higher than that of Tesla. Tesla is currently trading around 10.5 times sales. And when you compare that to peers that produce trucks and commercial vehicles, either entirely or a part of their offering, for example Daimler, VW, Tata Motors, PACCAR, Navistar, the average of them is trading at 1.1 times sales. Also, winning just 10% of this contract would mean that they would have to produce 16,500 vehicles over the entire life of the contract, or around 2,500 to 3,000 vehicles per year. Now looking at this on the basis of assuming Workhorse won 100% of the USP RFP contract, which personally I think is highly unlikely, this would still mean that Workhorse was trading at a premium multiple on an EV sales basis to other commercial vehicle manufacturers. So that's something really to consider. And obviously that's not comparing apples to apples. Workhorse clearly has some exciting angles with its drone delivery capabilities, which also justify a premium to the valuation. And also Workhorse is 100% EV focused, whilst those other manufacturers aren't. Workhorse has benefited massively from the flow of capital and the hype around the electric vehicle sector recently. Yes, it does have some exciting angles, but ultimately at this point in time, the company is overvalued when you look at the fundamentals. And this is not just a view held by me, it's also held by a number of professional investors, all of whom who have short positions on the company, and a number of equity research analysts who are coming out and saying that the company is massively overvalued. A recent example being Heidenberg, who suggested the company was over 50% overvalued. Number 2, there's a potential opportunity that LORDSTOWN Motor Company could itself be acquired as part of a SPAC. Now who is LORDSTOWN Motor Company and why is that important? Well, for more detail, check out my previous video on Workhorse where I went into it a lot more depth. But ultimately, the key thing to note here is that Workhorse holds a 10% equity stake, 10% ownership in LORDSTOWN Motor Company. Ultimately, if this was to happen, it would be really exciting for Workhorse. It would result in a big cash inflow through selling their 10% stake in the business. Obviously at this point in time it's all just market rumours, nobody knows what's going to happen. However, if you take a step back and look at the sector and where we are at the moment, if you look at the amount of hype and the amount of capital flowing into the sector, it makes a lot of sense for business owners to capitalise on those opportunities and raise money through IPOs or through mergers with SPACs. So on this one I think it's just important to follow the news flow and see what happens, but if it transpired to be true, it would be really good news for Workhorse. Number 3 is that insiders in the company have sold a massive number of shares in the company recently. Insiders in the company have sold nearly 7 million shares. Things like this should always be treated as a red flag. Ultimately, insiders have net sold shares in the business, i.e. insiders have sold more shares than they bought over the last 3-month period. What you can assume by that is that those people believe the company is either valued fairly or overvalued. If they believed the company was undervalued, then surely they'd be buying more shares to capitalise on the appreciation in value of them. Make of that what you will, and of course there can be reasons why insiders may need to sell shares, but ultimately in my eyes, that's not great news, especially given these insiders have a greater level of information available to them than normal retail investors do. The one final thing we really need to think about with Workhorse as well is the impact of the health crisis. How badly disrupted may production be? How reliant on the global supply chains is Workhorse for manufacturing its vehicles? All of these are so important to consider, and ultimately the continuation and the worsening of this health crisis just has negative impacts for Workhorse. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please smash the like button. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, then subscribe to the channel. And as always, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I always find it so interesting to see what everyone's differing opinions are, so please keep that up. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.